What's up guys, my name is Zero Heroes and welcome back to more Call to Arms, and today we are going to be doing another faction review with the faction mod that I've got installed on this game. Now if you do want to play the mod for yourself, then I will leave it in the description down below where you can play, of course, the mod for yourself. And the factions include Britain, France, Ukraine, and I believe it is the fourth one was it Iraq? Was it, I believe? I can't remember the top of my head, but of course I will probably put a text in saying what country it is. But if you don't remember from the last Call to Arms video, I did the British review on this, or the British faction review, which was only the kind of the armor side of it, so it wasn't any infantry. So I'm going to be doing the same with the French today, of course, with the armored division. And if you guys do want to see more of these faction reviews with only armoured vehicles or only with infantry kind of division, I should say, then please do let me know in the comments that you do enjoy this, and of course subscribe if you're new, because you will get a shout out at the end of the video. But as I said, we are going to be moving on to the French. Haha, the French, Viva la France, and all they think they're pride and all that shit. You know, this is from Great Britain, okay? But that's not, I would say, it's what Great Britain would say. It's what 90% of the population of Britain would say to France. So stop sending over illegal immigrants. I'm joking. Anyway, so yeah, we are going to be doing the French faction review. Now, today I'm only be covering the armored division, because if I did a whole kind of faction review, it'd just take too long. So I've kind of shortened it down. But if you guys do want to see the infantry review on it, then of course I will, please do let me know, because it would be very useful to know all your thoughts and comments on it. And also let me know what you guys think of the French armored division. Do you think it's better than the British? Do you think it's worse than the British armored division? Let me know. And of course I'm going to be going through all the details that I possibly can through this. Now don't expect me to get everything 100% correct, because this is just based what's going off the game and not actual proper detail here, so, or what's basically off, you know, historical reference. So I'm just going to be kind of basing information that is based off the information that I get off the game right here. So without further ado, I've brought out all the stuff that I should do ready. Now this time I am prepared. Unfortunately we had a wee mishap over here where one of the French vehicles just blew up for no reason. So typical French, mechanics. But we're going to be going through all of them as quickly as possible, and we are just going to get straight into it. So let's go. So let's first start off with kind of like the not so armored, well they are armored, but let's start off with kind of like the non-weaponized ones. Well, one of them is weaponized. So this is well, the two ones I want to start off here is with the armored vehicle VAB ammo and the VAB. So of course, this is the same as the British faction, where they are just medic vehicles where they can carry men. Now, luckily, I have got some volunteers over here which have kindly allowed them to kind of be in today's video. So big shout out to whoever you guys are. So these vehicles can take up to 9 people. So let's say you've got a bunch of crew over here. We can easily just pop them in here, and that will carry them safely back to HQ, where they can heal up if they've got any injuries out. And now, something that the British didn't have though is the ammo version, or sorry, this one is the ammo version. I presume the ammo version is literally just where it carries ammo for troops, whereas just the VAB is just for carrying injured out of the battlefield. So if you do ever find yourself kind of picking between these two vehicles, do not get confused. You need to make sure you pick the right one. Preferably I would go with the VAB ammo, because it can carry troops plus it can carry ammo, so there's really no point in this first VAB personally. So definitely pick the VAB ammo, which should give you, you know, a lot better out of your use when in the battlefield. Now, moving on to the kind of one of the weaponized ones you can get, which is the VAB TOW. Now, these vehicles are under the artillery section, as you can see, with the rest of the kind of the TOW missiles and all that. So if you're ever looking for these vehicles, it will be under artillery section over here. Now, moving on to the VAB TOW. Now, this thing it carries, of course, it is weaponized. As you can see, it has 4 missile TOWs. It has the main gun is 152mm TOWs. Unfortunately, the main gun in the red writing there doesn't. It's like kind of like a wee crappy description, but these are 152mm boomsticks. Well, I'm calling them boomsticks because they are big. Anything that's, you know, a big gun, I'm calling them a boomstick, whether you like it or not. So unfortunately with this thing that I have figured out is that you cannot really move them left and right, so they're kind of stuck in one place. So you actually have to move the vehicles, or actually it should move. Actually, I don't know why it's not moving, but what I'm going to do is hopefully you guys should be able to hear the sound on these guns, on these mistletoes. So I'm gonna let you guys hear it, and then we're gonna see how it sounds. So here we go. Okay, so I hope you guys did hear that there. Those were very loud. I don't know if you guys, I'm hoping the sound is okay now, because I actually had a struggle with the sound there earlier before I started recording. So I hope you guys did hear that. So what I'm going to do, I am going to turn up the environment just a wee bit and all the effects, that just so you guys can properly hear the sounds over here. So yeah, that is a VAB tow. Now this vehicle is very used for stealthy missions. I would also probably see some reconnaissance missions. So if you're going up against maybe any Humvees and you only have infantry, then this thing is a very good backup for, and to be honest, this thing is pretty well armored against Humvees, you know, with maybe 30 cals or 50 cals, because they won't be able to go through this. And this thing has 4 mistletoes, so if you're not able to finish them off once, twice, or third time, the 4th one will get them, and it is just an amazing thing. And also this thing can actually carry troops as well, up to 9 crew. All these vehicles here can carry up to 9 people at a time, including, I think that's including the crew as well, or the crew's already in it. So but it can carry up to 9 people. So this thing is very, very useful in battle, where if you just want to get your infantry to a quick checkpoint with this vehicle, which can be as support for the infantry and also for, you know, defeating vehicles as well. Mainly it won't really be good up against main battle tanks, maybe like Challenger 2s and T-72Bs, because this thing is not, unfortunately when you're up against T-72Bs, those have big guns which can definitely one-shot this. So this thing very useful maybe against lightly to medium armored vehicles. So there you go, that is the first kind of section out of the way. So that is the kind of artillery slash, you know, medic vehicles, I should say, if you're ever going to use these. So again, my recommendation is that if you don't want to go with the tow and you just want infantry, then use the VAB ammo, where I'm hoping it comes with ammo, but there's no kind of like white circle on the outside, which you usually do see in the trucks, in the supply trucks. So maybe that's something that the mod maker will add into this, into the game, hopefully with this mod. So these vehicles very useful. But if you want, you know, if you see any vehicles that you're going up against like Humvees, and then definitely bring out the VAB tow, which will one-shot it in a freaking second. So definitely very useful. And the French are now they're now smoking apparently. So yeah, there we go. Okay, so that was that section over here. Moving on to the medium armor over here. So this section, these vehicles you can get in the second row over here. So we're going to start off with small and then work our way up. So we're going to start off with the VABL M2 HB, if I said that right. Yeah, so this thing is very similar to what the British carried. It's the same gun that you get on the secondary gun on the Challenger 2. This thing is actually an automatic weapon, so you don't actually need a person in the gun to control it. It comes automatic, which you can probably see, which crew will see, which will automatically control, which is very nice. So because that means if you have a guy up here controlling this gun, he's very, very vulnerable to attacks and probably will get killed maybe by a sniper or something. So this the French did invent it this way, where, you know, it's an automatic gun and you don't need anybody to control it, which is very nice. And the sounds of these are very, very nice as well. Again, I'm hoping you are hearing this, because if you don't hear this, then I'm going to be very sad. But yeah, these are very nice sounds, and I'll let you listen to them now. So here we go. There we go. That is very impressive. And again, this thing is very much kind of suitable, kind of for the tow. But I would say it's I would choose the tow over the VABL. This thing is only mainly for supporting light infantry against other infantry, or it's lightly armored vehicles such as Humvees, which can give them a nice suppressing down for the enemy trucks or anything like that. So definitely use this against other enemy troops and lightly armored vehicles, but do not do anything heavier because you will lose this thing very quickly. And it could also be a good scout to kind of spot any recon that you need to do early within the game. So definitely, if you're going with if you're choosing between really, you know, going with infantry support, then go with the VABL, or if you're if you see any tanks or anything, or lightly to medium armored vehicle, go with the missile tow because or the tow, because it is just, or VAB tow, because it's so much better. So, and unfortunately this thing can actually carry, it can only carry up to kind of 3 crews, so you won't be able to fit a full crew members in here, which is quite unfortunate, but that's okay because it's not really made for that. Okay, moving on next to the VABIFV. Now this thing carries the main gun is a 25mm M242, so it is actually, I think it is yeah, it's definitely different. You can see by the caliber of the gun here, of course, by being 25mm. Now I'm going to fire this off. Now this is very good against, again, infantry, and maybe I would say slightly lightly medium armored vehicles. So I'm going to let you listen to it and see how it sounds. So here we go. Yeah, so you can hear that it's definitely a lot, the sound is a lot, it's a lot, you know, louder, I would say. Well, it's not louder, you can hear it's like bum 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 bum. So, which means that it is definitely something that you don't want to mess with. Again, this is something very good against Humvees, lightly armored Humvees, which will be able to easily, this thing will easily be able to take it out. And it's pretty well armored as well, with 50mm of armor, so it can be protected against something similar to like guns with a M2 HB, which will not go through this. So, and this thing can actually carry up to 9 crew, or 9 people as well. So this thing is very useful for carrying troops and going in for battle for supporting with troops and enemy lightly armored vehicles such as Humvees and all that. So definitely choose this vehicle with, again, choose all these vehicles with, you know, being careful with it, because some of these vehicles cannot always take out the right. Some of these vehicles are not suitable for all situations, so be careful when choosing what vehicles to choose. But with this vehicle, take it out with a group of infantry, and if you see any lightly armored vehicles, which will delete in a couple seconds. And again useful against enemy troops as well, to pin them down or suppress them. Moving on to the very last vehicle that I want to discuss in this kind of lightly armored section over here, which is the which is the VBCI. Try and say that 10 times fast. But yes, so this thing carries the same gun as the VABIFV. It carries exactly the same gun, the 25mm M242. So again, the guns are the guns are exactly the same, so there's no difference. But the only difference that is that this thing is a lot more armored. As you can see, the size of it is bigger. As you can see that it's got like a little gate here, or a little shield, I don't know whatever it is, to kind of protect it from the rear for any attacks. And also it's just more armored, and also you can fit 9 crew in here, the same as the IFV, which, to be honest, I don't know why. I feel like maybe you should carry more than 9 troops. I think this thing would maybe carry maybe 10 to 15 troops, but it's saying 9 troops. So again, this thing is very useful against, the same as the IFV, very useful against lightly armored to medium, lightly armored trucks, again, such as the Humvee, which I'll keep repeating. But also it'd be very useful against, again, pinning enemy infantry down if you want to try and make a move on a cap area. So very good. These vehicles are very good at these situations, that pinning down enemy vehicles and enemy infantry, and getting to the point that you need to. So this thing can actually, because this thing has more armor, I can probably survive maybe 50 cal hits, I would think, or maybe probably even more, maybe 25 millimeter. Anything. If this thing was shooting at itself, it would probably not penetrate itself, I would think, but definitely bring this thing out over the IFE, just because even though this thing, the VCI is basically better in every way, because, well, the only thing that there's differences is that the armor, and you're definitely going to want armor over weaker armor, and the guns are the same. So definitely, if you're choosing between those three, I would go with the VCI, but of course you have to be, you're sometimes limited with your points, so if you have to choose maybe a scout mission, then go for the M2HB, where this thing is the camouflage is very high and you won't get detected easily. But if you want to kind of go in for kind of like a mini assault, then use the IFE. But if you want to go for like a kind of mini main assault for dealing with kind of heavy infantry support, then go with the VCI, and of course with the troops. So yeah, there you go, that is kind of the medium faction done. So I hope this has kind of helped you decide what vehicles to bring out. But moving on to one of the main sections I'm really excited about, and this is the tanks, the actual tanks themselves. Well, I don't know if you can consider that a tank, but we're going to go over here. Unfortunately, one of the vehicles did blow up while I was trying to set up everything, but of course this is where you can find it in the main tank section over here. So we'll start off with the smallest of them all, the AML 90. Now it carries a 73mm 2A28 Grom gun, with the machine gun being an M240, which is actually it's not the same. It's the it's different. It's kind of a smaller caliber of machine gun. So, but this thing is very useful for scouting, I would say, and dealing with heavy to, I would say, lightly to medium armored vehicles. So because this thing has a gun that is very useful at dealing with vehicles very quickly and then getting out of the situation very quietly, because it's a small vehicle to detect. So because the vehicle is small, it'll be hard to detect, and therefore it'll be harder for the enemies to find you if you're hiding this in a bush, let's say. So this thing is very useful. Now the rounds it carries is 73mm HE rounds, 73mm heat rounds, and that's all you get to choose from. There's no AP rounds, so you're definitely gonna have to be very wise when shooting vehicles. So if you're choosing, I would say if you're shooting at maybe something a little bit heavier armor, then go with the heat rounds, because those things do not lose penetration over distance. So you're going to keep the same penetration when you shoot over distance. So definitely keep that in mind. And of course, when shooting HE, shoot them HE against infantry, lightly armored vehicles, to blow them up in an instant. So, and of course, I'll fire this off so I can let you guys hear it. So here we go. There we go. So there we go. That is the AML 40 now, or the AML 90, I should say. So one thing I would say do not do is do not bring this thing into a one-on-one battle with a tank, because it has no armor. It only has 15 to 16 millimeters of armor, which is actually less armor than these vehicles over here. So definitely do not put these in a one-to-one combat with a main battle tank, because this thing will lose in an instant. And of course it only carries 3 crews, so the crew is quite easily replaceable, which is really nice. And the speed is 40, which is actually quite bad for a vehicle like this, considering it is a wheeled vehicle. I would expect to maybe go 50 or maybe even 55 or something a wee bit faster, but so you're definitely going to have to choose your position with this vehicle, get it in ambush. What to do is set this vehicle in a bush, ambush any vehicles that come by, and then run away. So you're literally just a scout putting in a bush and then running away, because that's all you're really meant to do in this vehicle. You cannot do this in a one-to-one battle, because you'll just lose your vehicle in an instant and then it'll be away. So definitely this vehicle does take a kind of a high skill cap to control, so definitely be careful with choosing this vehicle. Okay, moving on to the next vehicle I want to talk about, which is the AMX 10RC. Now this thing carries a bigger gun. This carries a 105mm M68A2 gun, with the machine gun being the M240. So again, the same with the where's my mouse? Again, same with the AML 90. So unfortunately, we had a wee accident here where I blew up another vehicle by accident, but I'm gonna let you guys listen to this 105 gun, and then of course the machine gun as well. So hopefully all the sound goes okay. So here we go. Okay, there we go. I hope you heard that. So that is the 105. So you can hear it's kind of a darker sound, but it sounds like a darker and louder sound than the 90. Okay, well, our vehicle just blew up there. Then you get on the 73mm gun. So, but in this vehicle you actually carry a lot more rounds, or you have more options for rounds than the AML 90. So you have APF SDS, which you can choose as probably your main round. You have HE rounds, you have heat rounds, and those are the three. I thought there was another one, but there's not. So with your first round, with the AP, your best option, your main option that you want to choose on the rounds is of course the APF SDS, which will be best for, which is kind of like armor piercing rounds like back in World War II, but of course with it's basically better in every way. So you're going to be choosing that ammo for every choice, mostly in every situation you do it, maybe except from lightly armored vehicles, which you probably might want to use HE for, just to try and just to make it a one shot. And of course heat would be for those much harder targets, for maybe like a T-72, but this thing is mostly good at maybe dealing with lightly to medium armored vehicles, like, I'm just trying to think, maybe like M60s, I would say, which the APF or the APF SDS, which will be useful for. So if you're ever going up against M60s, then definitely go for that. If you ever see an Abrams, you're gonna have no chance, not even with heat. The caliber is just not big enough to kind of go through, unfortunately. This thing again is very good, is for kind of lightly sniping at a distance. And of course, as you can see, the way that this vehicle has, it doesn't have good armor. It only has 47mm of armor, I presume. Well, that's what it says down in the details there, 47. But of course, with the kind of angling that you can, effective angling is probably maybe gone up to, I would think, maybe 55 or something, or a lot more. So, but again, same as kind of the rule as the AML 90, but you are bigger, so you're going to get easier to detect. But of course, this thing is kind of like the AML 90. You want to put it in an ambush position, shoot a tank and run away, because again, you're going to get one-shotted by T-72s, M60s, you're going to get one-shotted by a lot of tanks. So keep this thing at a distance to medium to long range, where you can snipe effectively at, with this gun, and it'll basically do the bidding for you. So again, it requires some heavy kind of high cap of reaction to deal with this vehicle. But now that and of course this thing takes 3 crew and the speed is 40, again a wee bit, I would say this is more realistic, a more realistic speed compared to the AML 90. So 40, again, it could maybe be a wee bit quicker, maybe at 45, but I think that's quite realistic that the speed is that the AML 90 40 does not kind of feel that realistic speed for this vehicle. Maybe like 50 or 55 would be. But yeah, so again, 3 crew, very easily replaced if the crew goes down. And yeah, it's just overall a very good effective tank when you're sniping it. Again, don't take this thing in a one-to-one combat because you'll lose. Okay, moving on to the very last vehicle I want to discuss in today's vehicle. The one I've mostly been really excited for is the AMX Lessers. Again, I'm probably actually pronouncing that wrong. I am, but this thing carries a much heavier gun than these two guns. These is, well, I wouldn't say much, but a much better gun. 120mm M256A1 gun, with the machine gun being the M240, the same as the AMX tanks as well, the AMX and the AML tanks. So this thing is a beast. It literally is. This thing has a good decent rate of fire. I don't know, again, I don't know the 100% of the details, but I can tell this thing is a beast. So let's talk about a wee bit about it, of course. So again, main gun, 120mm gun with the M2 machine gun, M240 machine gun as its secondary, dealing with infantry. This vehicle is very good fighting against, now this thing would be a good in a 1v1 combat, but just remember, this thing does not have as good armor as a Challenger. This thing is still actually pretty weak for kind of a main battle tank, or a heavy tank I should say, which only goes up to 100 to 870mm of armor. As you can see at the front, you can see that it does have some, if you hit it on the upper deck here, or the upper plate, then it is going to ricochet at a very high angle, which is the effective armor, which makes it more effective. But you can see that this thing does kind of have a lower plate here with some weak points at the side. So, and you can see that the turret does look quite weak at the side cheeks as well. I would never shoot this thing straight at the side of the mantlet, because you're just never going to go through. But I would say if I had a more detailed armor layout, then I would tell you, but it's only showing me 100 to 870. But I would say the turret is quite strong. Again, I would take this in a 1v1. I wouldn't take it up against a Challenger, because you'll just lose, because the Challengers could just completely OP and overpowered. But it is very useful against maybe T-72Bs and all that, and maybe T-80s, I would say. Now, the rounds you can get with this is the same as the AMX, the AMX 10RC. So you've got your APFDS, your HE, and your heat rounds. Now, your heat rounds, because this is a bigger caliber gun, your heat rounds are going to be more useful against Challenger tanks. If you're ever going up against Challenger tanks, or T90s, I would say T90 MSs, then I would maybe go up use heat, or I would stick to APFS, because those T90 MSs do have kind of like shielded gates that protect you from heat rounds. So maybe stick with the APFDS, and it's just, I would say this thing has a quicker reload than the Russians guns, with I presume maybe maxing maybe about 10 seconds on reload, probably maybe longer. It depends of course on the crew and all that, and how skillful they are. But of course this thing has a max speed of 35 kilometers an hour, which I presume is in kilometers or miles per hour. It can actually carry, I didn't actually realize this until just now, but it can carry up to 9 crews. So if you want to bring out some infantry, if you want to bring up a group of infantry, then, oh wait, no you can't. Okay, I thought you could, because it said the crew, it said 4 to 9, but I guess it's not there anymore. Okay, I guess you can't put it in stop. But yeah, this thing has a crew of 4 tanks, so it is more that it's just one more crew than the AMX and the AML. But to be honest, that's not a bother, because you can easily replace them. Anyway, but yeah, this thing is definitely not a tank you really want to mess with, because it can get in position pretty quickly. I was definitely much faster than the Challengers, and I would say pretty faster than the T-72s as well. So, and this thing is just a major boss. So I'm going to fire this off and let you guys hear it with this big 120mm boomstick. So here we go. Yeah, this thing is pretty loud, and I love the gun sounds with this mod as well. It's pretty amazing. So yeah guys, there we go. That is the AMX Lessers. I don't know how you pronounce it, but basically you want to bring this thing in a 1-to-1 combat with a T-72, not really much higher than a T-72B or a T-80, because anything higher than a T-80, then you're just going to struggle, and you're just going to get one-shotted probably, because again, it does not have the thickest of armor. But that is it for the French. Now I'm hoping that I do believe that you could probably get some more armor, some more tanks here with the French faction, but unfortunately the mod maker has not done so yet. But of course I'm hoping there's more vehicles to be added to the game. Again, this mod is still probably the mod maker's doing his best he can to kind of add in the factions, and there's still a lot of progress to be made. So I'm sorry that everything's not properly accurate, but I would say everything here is just amazing. So yeah, there we go guys, that is it for today's video. If you did enjoy it, make sure you leave a like and tell me what you think about the French armored division. Do you think it's better than the British? Do you think it's worse than the British armored division, or do you think that it's the same and they're both competitive, or do you think they're unique in their own way? So let me know in the comments down below, and also tell me, oh, that freaking voice crack there, tell me, and also if you had to pick one vehicle of all of these that we've discussed so far, which one would it be and why? So there you go, that is a question for you. So it'd be which vehicle, if you had to pick all the vehicles that I've discussed today, if you had to pick one vehicle today, and why would you choose it? So there you go, that is a question of the day today. So there we go guys, that is it for today's video. Thank you so much for watching. If you are new to the channel, then make sure you do subscribe, because you will get a shout out at the end of the video. And of course I have my loving iron brew here that I love very much, and yeah, there we go. So, and I do love like the camos on these tanks as well, they're just absolutely amazing. And if you want me to do more faction reviews on this, then make sure you leave a like on this video again, because I think I have one more. Ukraine isn't ready, but there is another fourth faction that I can review, I think, hoping that everything will be well. The French people are just smoking their life away. Yep, that's a freaking French people, man, piss me off. Anyway guys, there we go. I just like to say thank you so much for watching and all your support, and yeah, just the subs have been amazing. Anyway guys, I'd like to say thank you so much for watching and all your support, and I will see you in the next video. See you later and goodbye.